The Atactical A1 flashlight. This light is sort of in conjunction with ThruNite. ThruNite contacted me and asked me if I'd be interested in reviewing this light from Atactical, and I said, sure, what the heck, because this light is a great deal on a budget light, and you get a lot for your $20 with this light. The connection between Atactical and ThruNite is a little bit confusing. ThruNite told me that they are doing technical support for Atactical. If you look at the packaging, the logos, obviously very similar, the red and the black, same cardboard packaging. A lot of people think that ThruNite is making Atactical, which may be the case because this light is very similar to the ThruNite TC12. And just here's some couple things. The A1, the A1S is also coming out. I'll get to that in a little bit. But there's the information about them. They do have a little different address from ThruNite from what I can tell. But nonetheless, let's have a look at it. Here's how it comes. Inside you get the standard instruction pamphlet. Here's some stuff on run times and things if you want to pause that. Has an XPG2 reflector. It's IPX7 rated. It says someplace output from 10 lumens all the way up to 550 lumens. The throw is 205 meters. I'll get to my meaningful use distance about that. There's the IPX7 rating. And so there's that. In the package, here's the light. And like I said, if you have a ThruNite TC12, this is very similar in size. The other things that come in here is a power cable as it's rechargeable and 2 extra O-rings. Get some of this out of the way. Now this light, it's not a small light. Like I said, if you have a ThruNite TC12, it's very similar, but just for some comparison, here's an EagleTac DC or D25 C2 Tactical, I believe, and a, sorry, EagleTac, yeah, EagleTac, and EagleTac D25 C2, and Inforce. And so you can see it's bigger than all of these. This puts out 550 lumens. These both put out around 1,000, and this one is 300. So it's a little bit bigger light, maybe not as handy for everyday carry. I carry this one a lot, and even the smaller version of it because it's fairly thin in the pocket. But just a vague size comparison there. A little bit bigger, a little bit thicker, but very similar to the ThruNite TC12. This light has a retail on Amazon Prime. I'll put a link down below. $19.99 to your house in 2 days. And for that $20, it's a heck of a deal because it's very well made, comes with a battery, rechargeable battery, and it is a great budget light for the money. It's a great real light for the money. But at $20, it's even that much better. Puts out 550 ANSI lumens. One of the things with some of these other lights of sort of off-brand companies, I did a light review on my 1,000 lumens for $10 and not ANSI lumen. That light I think probably put out 300 lumens. But this light is ANSI rated, so it's a real 550 lumens. This is the A1. There's also an A1S that looks like it's coming out right now. Atactical only makes sort of this one light with the A1S coming out, and the A1S puts out 1,150 lumens and is going to be $35.95, but I think is not out yet, at least at the time of this video. I'll show you what's in this light here. On the back there's a tail cap. There's a spot for a lanyard there. It doesn't come with it, but if you want to attach something, you can there. The tail button slightly recessed so that if you want to tail stand it, you can, with just, I think, a little bit of work. Or maybe you can't. I think you can. Well, it's not the best at tail standing, I'll say. How's that? All right, not a great tail stander. That tail cap protrudes just slightly above those 2 horns on either side of the tail. All right, in the back here, this comes off. There's an O-ring here. When you get this light for the first time, there's going to be a little piece of plastic here, and you just need to remove that so that this can make connection so it doesn't accidentally turn on in shipping. Here's one of the interesting things with this light. This light comes with a battery. 18650 is what this light, what this light runs on. But this light, the battery itself is rechargeable. Some of the other lights, the light itself sort of kind of is rechargeable. I mean, it's all the battery you're recharging. But a lot of the lights will have a port on the flashlight itself. This one is a little bit different in that the battery has the charging port. And then on the end here, there's 2 LEDs. It'll light up red if the battery's charging. It'll light up green if the battery's fully charged. Because this is a sort of a novelty with this battery, it's a 2600 milliamp hour battery, which is a little bit smaller than, say, the 3400 milliamp hour ones. It's a little smaller capacity. I'm assuming maybe taken up by the charging mechanism here. It's kind of a novelty. I would probably just assume charge the light itself, or just taking the battery out and putting it in a charger. So it's kind of interesting, a little bit different take on the battery, but for what it's worth, there you go. It does come with it. Kind of interesting. The light has reverse polarity, so if you accidentally put in the battery, reverse polarity protection, if you accidentally put in the battery backwards, the light will not explode. Tail cap back on. The pocket clip here is removable. I would try it, but it's on there pretty firmly, and I don't think my fingers could take it. But it is removable right there if you're not a pocket clip kind of guy, and you just want to carry it without that. The light doesn't come with a case. A lot of the 3 nights come with cases. You know, for $20, I think this is where you're getting some of the budget out of this light. Some knurling here, down here. There's the model name and stuff, serial number. On this side, Atactical A1. The pocket clip is nice. It doesn't go over a lot of rough stuff. I mean, it's over the knurling, but it's not over a lot of other rough stuff, so it'll go into your pocket without too much difficulty. The head does come off, not that you need to take the head off, but you can put the battery in there also if you're so inclined. I guess take it off from either side if you want, and then this is just a tube here in the middle. And then down here, this is the light, the button that controls the brightnesses. Down to the head, a little bit of a heat sink here. And then there is the reflector, deep, smooth reflector with that Cree LED in there. So that deep, smooth reflector. The throw on this is rated at 205 meters. The way, I have to explain this in every video, the way I convert that into a meaningful use distance is I simply change the units. 205 meters becomes 205 feet. No math equations were harmed in the making of this video. 205 feet. So 60 yards or so is probably the meaningful distance of what you're going to be able to light up with this light. 200 meters, over 2 football fields, probably not realistic for what you're going to use these lights. And that's every light I've ever reviewed. I do the meaningful distance of them in that method. On the front here, there is a hardened glass with anti-reflective coating. Now the user interface on this turns on and off by the tail cap here, and then the brightness is changed by the button here. It has a forward click design, so if you half press it, it will come on. So if you want to use it in a tactical sort of way, you can do that. It's not going to be great depending on which type of method you're going to be holding it, like in the cigar method. You're not going to be able to get a lot of push there. I mean, you can get some, I guess. So maybe it can work in that way. But because the tail cap is a little bit protected, depending on how you're doing it, if you're doing Harry's or whichever way, you just need to kind of work that out with the way this button is. But anyway, so half press, you can turn it on, and then full press and reverse click, and it comes on to the full on mode. Then it comes on first to that 10 lumens. It'll do it for 5.5 days, and then this button ramps up through the brightnesses. So 10 lumens for 5.5 days, 63 lumens for 19 hours, 200 lumens for 5.5 hours, 550 lumens for 3.3 hours, and then there is a 550 lumen strobe for 4 hours, or not strobe, that's an SOS. On the point of this SOS, I think the SOS mode should be hidden. In the life of me, how many of you have ever used an SOS mode on a flashlight? Raise your hands. Oh, don't raise your hands, I can't see your hands. But put in the comments, if you ever used an SOS mode on a flashlight, put in the comments. I think the SOS modes, they should be hidden if they're at all. I'm not sure how useful they are on lights. And then it does also have a strobe, and you get to the strobe by long pressing it, and it goes into the strobe. Press it again, it goes back out. Now, an interesting thing, it does have mode memory. So here I am in high, turn it off, comes back on in the high, either momentary or full on. When you're going through the brightnesses, starting at low, that SOS always throws me. You have to cycle through that every time. But starting at low, so you go low, medium, high, turbo, SOS, and then back down. If you move up through these in less than 2 seconds, it'll go up every time. But say you're on high, you leave it for more than 2 seconds without pressing it, it will always revert back down to the low. So low, medium, more than 2 seconds, back down to the low. Low, medium, high, more than 2 seconds, back down to the lows. So it has, you can go through them less than 2 seconds, leave it on turbo, turn it off, and no matter how long you leave it off for, it will always come back on to whatever you turned it off at. So an interesting note there on the user interface. On the build quality of this light, I'm not going to torture test this myself. I've seen other people do it, throw it off bridges, freeze it, submerge it in water for a long time, and the light can take all of the stuff you're going to throw at it. These lights, whether they be IPX7 rated, IPX8 rated, most people I think are not going to torture these lights, or any of their lights. I would say that almost everyone buying these, torture them to the point that they're going to kill them. Well, the one through now that I even shot with 22 and 9mm, when I took the 9mm to the head, okay, that killed it. But for the most part, any normal use of any of these lights, dropping it off stuff, dropping it wherever you have, dropping it on the ground, the lights are going to take it, and they do really well. This light, even at $20, comes with a battery, comes with all this other stuff, is a heck of a deal on a super well-built light. It's not small, so depending on how you're dressed, it might not be the best for an everyday carry kind of thing. You might want to get a smaller light, maybe one of the smaller through nights or smaller Eagle Tack. But for $20, I think it's a heck of a light. 550 lumens. They're coming out with the A1S at 1150 lumens somewhere soon, I assume, because their website shows it, and that's going to be $36. Again, half the cost or so of the through night. So I think these are great lights. Check one out. Fully recommend it for you. A second light, a first light. I know for people that are getting into lights are a little bit apprehensive about the cost of expensive lights. I remember the first time I bought an expensive light for $40, I thought I was crazy. So this one for $20, the brighter one for $36, I think is a great deal for yourself, as a gift, whatever you want. Check it out, the Atactical A1 flashlight.